Let me tell you something most people never admit out loud. I can tell you the exact second my marriage died. It wasn't during a fight. There were no slammed doors, no broken glass, no voices echoing through the walls. No, it was much quieter than that. It was a Tuesday, 8:45 p.m. The dishes were already done, the TV was off, and the house was so silent you could hear the hum of the refrigerator. She was sitting on the couch, scrolling through her phone like she always did, and I asked one simple, vulnerable question. Not out of lust, not out of pressure, but out of a deep craving to feel connected again. I leaned in and said softly, "Do you want to come to bed with me tonight?" Now, here's the part that shattered me. She didn't even look up. She didn't smile. She didn't reach for me. She just sighed. That same little sigh you give when someone asks you to take the trash out in the middle of a show. And then she said it. Calm, cold, emotionless. I think once a month is enough. That was it. Not a fight, not a tear, not even a conversation. Just 5 words that landed heavier than any argument could. I blinked. Wait, what? She leaned back, still holding her phone like it was the only thing that mattered. I mean, intimacy. Sex. Once a month is plenty, don't you think? And for the first time in my life, I saw nothing behind her eyes. Not love, not anger, not even sadness. Just emptiness. Apathy. Like she was talking about laundry detergent. And in that second, something in me cracked. You ever feel your stomach just drop out of your body? Your breath gets caught in your throat, not from fear, but from humiliation? That's what it felt like. Because it wasn't just about intimacy, it was about the message underneath it. You don't matter to me. You're not attractive to me. You're just a chore now. And I'll be honest with you, I froze. I wanted to argue. I wanted to ask why. Instead, I just sat there. She scrolled. I suffocated. She shrugged when I asked how long she'd felt that way. "A while," she said. A while. That's when I realized all those not tonights weren't about being tired. They weren't about stress. They weren't about work. They were about me. She just didn't want me anymore. And listen carefully, because this part matters. Most people think betrayal only comes when someone cheats. But the truth? There's another kind of betrayal that's just as deadly. The betrayal of neglect. The betrayal of being invisible. The betrayal of emotional starvation, when the person you love makes you feel like asking for connection is asking for too much. That night, she went to bed without a second thought, and I stayed on the couch staring at the ceiling, whispering something I'd never said before, not out loud, but in my own head. If once a month is all I'm worth, then once a month is all you'll get. And that was the beginning of my silent revenge. Now, before I tell you what happened next, let me ask you this. Have you ever been made to feel invisible in your own relationship? Have you ever begged silently for the person you love to just see you again? If you're nodding right now, then keep listening, because what I did next didn't come from anger. It came from something more dangerous. Clarity. I need you to understand something. Heartbreak isn't always loud. Movies teach us it's screaming, throwing plates, storming out into the rain. But my heartbreak was silent. It folded in on itself. No yelling, no begging, just nothing. And nothing is terrifying, because the most dangerous man in a broken marriage isn't the one who shouts, it's the one who stops explaining himself. So I made a choice. A quiet one. A disciplined one. If she wanted me once a month, then once a month is all she'd get. At first it was small. I stopped telling her about my day. I stopped asking about hers. I started staying late at work, hitting the gym longer, sleeping on the couch more often. She barely noticed, because she'd already stopped noticing me a long time ago. But slowly I started reclaiming myself. I booked weekends away, Airbnbs, cabins, sometimes just long drives with no destination. And every time I came back, I gave her exactly what she gave me: silence, distance, indifference. No explanations, no arguments. Just a ghost version of the man I used to be. And here's where it gets interesting. At first, she thought I was sulking, that I was pouting, that I'd eventually cave like I always did, but I didn't. I stayed quiet, disciplined, consistent. Week after week, month after month, I matched her energy. Her once-a-month intimacy became my once-a-month presence. And that's when she started to notice. Dinner on the table, candles lit, dresses she hadn't worn in years, little notes left around the house, text messages saying, "I miss us." But here's the truth. It was too late. Because when someone starves you long enough, you stop craving their food. The night she finally broke was the night I walked into a spotless house with music playing and dinner waiting. She looked stunning. She reached for my hand, kissed my cheek, whispered, "Come upstairs with me tonight." And I smiled, the same polite, empty smile she gave me months earlier, and I said, "Not tonight." Her eyes widened, hurt, confusion, panic. And that's when it hit her. The standard she set, the coldness she normalized, had finally come back to her. Balanced, mirrored, equal. Now let me tell you something important. This wasn't revenge, not anymore. It was self-respect. Because sometimes the loudest thing you can say is silence. And if you're listening right now, trapped in a relationship where you feel invisible, here's your reminder. You don't have to scream. You don't have to beg. You don't even have to fight. You just have to decide. Because the moment you stop begging for crumbs, you realize you were always capable of baking your own bread. So let me leave you with this. If you've ever been starved of love, ignored, or treated like you were optional, share this with someone who needs to hear it. Drop A in the comments if you felt invisible in your own home. And remember, silence isn't weakness. Sometimes, silence is the strongest revenge.